When I was 12 years old, I started developing a pain and a stiffness in my neck and upper back. They called in a neurosurgeon from Boston, and he diagnosed me as having a calcified disc at about level T4. They tried to operate and alleviate the problem. As a result, certain nerves were cut, and I wound up paraplegic, come out of it paraplegic, 12 years old. Within a year to a year and a half, I came out of the wheelchair to walk with crutches, then down to clip crutches, and then down to a cane. I re-entered the school system, and I had a great career as an electronic engineer until I was about 50 years old.
My dad is just like any other dad. He happens to have paraplegia, but growing up, we did everything that normal kids would do. We would go camping, we'd go fishing. He's definitely my best friend. He's my pop, as I say.
My paraplegia, which had been in check for all those years, suddenly started going downhill. I started taking many, many, many falls.
My whole life I sort of worried about my dad. It's just, I think it comes naturally. When you see your dad having a disability, he just happened to be on a cane, but in the back of my mind, I always worried.
They finally said to me, "You're going to have to go back to the wheelchair. No more trying to walk." And I was in that thing all day long, and eventually I developed one whopper of a big, big pressure ulcer. I spent about 2.5 months in the hospital. I was totally independent. I was very active until March 17, 2015. This pressure ulcer erupted. I wound up at the South Shore Wound Center, where the doctor took one look at it and determined that he could not help me at all. And they sent me to the South Shore Hospital, where they determined that I had a stage 4 pressure ulcer, which required 8 weeks of intravenous antibiotic at a rehab facility. I was home for 10 days when the wound became reinfected. And from there, I went to 4 separate hospitals before I wound up back at the rehab facility again for another month of antibiotics.
When I actually saw what the infection looked like when it opened up, I think that's when I really realized that I'm gonna be committed to caring for my dad.
In the middle of 2017, we started showing another breakdown. And we went to the wound center on an off day, and the doctor that attended us was Dr. Lisa Gould. And it turned out to be a total blessing in disguise.
So when I first see a patient like Tom, I try to put the whole picture together in terms of what's going on at home, what does he know about his wounds, what has already taken place with his wounds, and then we can figure out a strategy from there. So he already had a very large wound with a lot of bone exposed and was getting IV antibiotics for that. That was well cared for and hadn't really started to heal yet. The other wound was relatively new and occurred because he was trying to protect the wound that he was in the hospital for.
Dr. Gould turned out to be very intelligent, knowledgeable, and very innovative in trying new techniques, new things. And from that point on, she was my doctor.
In Tom's case, he had a really old mattress at home. He had a greater than 10-year-old mattress, so he needed a new mattress. It wasn't functioning right. The prolapsed hemorrhoids were really causing a problem, and so we wanted to coordinate with the general surgeon to see if he would be a candidate for a colostomy in order to do a diversion.
As a paraplegic, you have a lot of problems, but to let go of one last bodily function that you think you have some control over was a very difficult decision. October of 2017. They did a colostomy operation.
So then we're starting to put together the picture of, can he heal the wound on his own? Is he going to need a flap? And what the priorities are.
And that brought me over to 2018. And this was the year that it was going to be healed, definitely.
In his case, we started with the right side, and I did a flap that's extremely reliable, and he healed so fast. It was just amazing. Because he had everything. He had the good nutrition, very motivated, and stayed off of it and did all the right things, and it did great.
I healed up wonderfully. I was all healed in like 5 days. I went out of the hospital in 7 days. And then in June of that same year, 2018, we tackled the left ischium wound. After it was all done, the wound would not heal. It just kept opening up. This was getting pretty discouraging.
I know when he was down, I could tell, and it's hard because neither one of us want to deal with it.
I started feeling a bit of despair. I said, this is never going to heal. And I said, boy, did my whole life change, and I'll never be able to do things I used to do and enjoy.
It definitely took away a lot of his freedom. He used to be a real independent man. He would go everywhere.
Fortunately, I have a strong constitution. I didn't require any special help. I just pulled myself out of it and said, okay, let's get on with it, you know.
Taking care of people that have a long course with a chronic problem can be difficult, and Tom always has a positive attitude.
For the most part, he's always stayed the same. He's a rock. He's my Superman, as I call him.
There was one time I spent too much time in the wheelchair. Christmas time I was buying presents and it got bigger. So she said, well, our last option is to have one more operation to try to close it up. And I really, really did not want another operation, because up to this point, I had 7.
We changed the strategy a little bit in terms of his wound care, and it improved. And I think his son showed him a photograph that showed how much it had improved. And when we canceled the surgery, he says, yeah, I'm happy about that. Tom Sr.'s son, Tom Jr., often came, almost always came to his clinic appointments. I called him the TB squared or the B team. They're a really good team. They're always looking for ways to make Tom Sr.'s life better. And I think that's a big part of what keeps him going.
My role in my dad's healthcare basically was to be here for all of his needs. Everything from bathing, hygiene, getting him dressed, and I happened to get used to the wound care aspect of it. I became completely involved in taking care of his wounds. It takes a lot of commitment, but I was willing to do it. It's my pop. There is a program in Massachusetts called the Mass Reuse Program, and I would go through their inventory and check to see what they had.
So they got a standing wheelchair from there, and so it was just amazing that they're innovative. They're always looking for ways to make Tom Sr.'s life better.
And for the first time in over 10 years, this past year, I got my dad to stand, which was a great feeling for him and a great feeling for me. You know.
The team of Tom Sr. and Tom Jr. is novel, unique, and they are a great team. I wish that every patient had this team.
My dad today, I would say, is more hopeful than ever, knowing that we're at the end for this wound to be healed and all the wounds that he's had. I think he's looking forward to getting on with life. Dr. Gould, without a doubt, saved my dad's life.
And Dr. Gould has been great. She's been just great. And I really appreciate the fact that all of the different things she's tried to help heal this wound.
She's our angel, we call her that. We talk about, isn't it amazing that we met Dr. Gould and how we met her? It's almost like it was meant to be. Very special.
I know she wants it healed as badly as I do. And I think we're gonna do it. I know we are.
You're standing. What? When's the last time you were able to walk? My Superman right there. That's our pop. It's the first time he's done this.